historic day for our country. Judge Ketanji Jackson becomes the 116th justice to serve on the Supreme Court.
Under the Constitution
and laws of the United States.
And laws of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Justice Jackson is the first black woman to serve on the nation's highest court. She took 2 oaths at today's historic swearing-in ceremony. The second was administered by Justice Stephen Breyer, her predecessor, who officially retired today. Justice Jackson also clerked for Justice Breyer in 1999. She had this to say just after her Senate confirmation nearly 3 months ago.
In my family, it took just 1 generation to go from segregation to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Experts say Justice Jackson will have a significant impact with her background and experience as a woman of color, of course, a mother and former public defender. Joining us now is attorney Adara. She currently serves as the victim advocate of Philadelphia, and she's a former prosecutor in the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
So in your opinion, what is the historical significance of Judge Ketanji Jackson being sworn in this afternoon?
So the historical significance is just so great, not only for this country, but also for what it means to people like myself who aspire to such greatness in the legal community. Not too long ago, as Justice Ketanji Jackson was just saying,
so help me God.
Thank
you very much, and now I'll turn things over to Justice.
Sorry, there was some feedback there. Not too long ago, you know, within my lifetime, I've spoken to family members who could have never imagined not only becoming attorneys, but also becoming Supreme Court justices. So just the impact that it has on our community is just vast. In addition to the 2 hats that you indicated that I currently wear, I'm also the barristers president of Philadelphia, which is an affinity bar organization for black attorneys. And just within our legal community, it's just been a pure bliss to see a black woman rise through the ranks and become a member of the highest court of our nation. Just taking that impact a little bit more broad, with the recent decisions that have come down, having someone to represent the community, represent a different voice, represent a purview that up until this very moment in time has never been represented on our nation's highest court, the impacts will be great. And I'm sure that we'll feel them as she gets acclimated to the court and as things are presented to the court for decisions to be rendered.
Now, you just mentioned it, or you touched on it. It hasn't even been a week since the Supreme Court's controversial and monumental decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The 6-3 conservative majority remains the same, but how do you see Justice Jackson playing a role on the court despite that dynamic?
Again, I think that her having a place on the court will just add a different perspective, just as every justice has their own perspective and advocates for their position and hears things from a different lens. I think having diversity on the court represents the diversity that is the populace. So I think having her opinion on the court, having her voice being heard as decisions are being made that impact communities that include women of color, that include black women specifically and black people specifically, will just have a drastic impact. I don't think there's any way that it wouldn't, or else we wouldn't look to individual criteria of justices. Because if their individuality and what they bring to the table wasn't impactful, then it wouldn't really matter who served, right? But it does. So having her voice at the table and having her background as a public defender, as a civil rights attorney, as a black woman, as a mother, I think will just have a drastic impact on how the court views cases and at least how they analyze those cases as well.
Oh, well, Adara, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, as well as for your insightful commentary. We appreciate it greatly.
Thank you. All
right, stay with CBS 3 for the latest on the Supreme Court's newest Justice, Ketanji Jackson. When we are not on TV, we are online at cbsphilly.com.